Did you know there's a whole world living inside your belly button? Just kidding. It's in your stomach. We're talking about worms. Worms in your stomach might sound gross, but they're more common than you think. Don't worry, it's not like having a whole zoo in there. These worms are super tiny, like microscopic ninjas. They live in your intestines, not your actual stomach. And guess what? They've been with humans for a long, long time. Now before you get grossed out, let's learn more about these little critters. Some worms are actually helpful to us. Others, not so much. But don't worry, we'll tell you all about how to stay safe and healthy. So, get ready to explore the wild world of stomach worms. Let's meet the tiny tenants who might be living in your gut right now. These microscopic creatures are more common than you might think. Don't worry, they're not as scary as they sound. In fact, many people live with them without even knowing. First up, we have roundworms. These guys are shaped like, you guessed it, rounds. They are the most common type of intestinal worm found in humans. Then there are tapeworms. These flat fellows look like, well, tapes. They can grow super long, sometimes even several feet. Yuck! Imagine having something that long inside you. Next, we've got hookworms. They're named for the hooks they use to latch onto your intestines. These hooks help them stay in place and feed off your blood. And finally, we have pinworms. These tiny thread-like worms are most common in kids. They like to hang out near your back end, causing itching and discomfort. Each of these worms has its own way of getting into your body and causing trouble. But remember, not all worms are bad. Some can even be beneficial. For example, certain worms can help with soil health and even boost our immune system. So, while some worms can be troublesome, others play a crucial role in our ecosystem. Stay tuned to find out more about these fascinating creatures and how they impact our lives. How do these tiny trespassers get into our bodies, you ask? It's a fascinating and somewhat alarming process. Well, it's all about the journey, my friends. These little invaders have quite the adventure ahead of them. Imagine a tiny roundworm egg on a piece of fruit. It might look harmless, but it's just waiting for the right moment. You take a bite, and gulp, down it goes. The egg goes on a wild ride down your esophagus and lands in your stomach, where the real journey begins. Then, it travels to your intestines, where it hatches and grows into an adult worm. This is where it starts causing trouble. Tapeworms, on the other hand, like to hitch a ride in undercooked meat. They can be quite sneaky. Hookworms are even sneakier and can enter through your skin, especially your feet. And pinworms? They're a different story. They spread through tiny itchy eggs that can survive on surfaces like toys and bedding, making them hard to avoid. So wash your hands thoroughly, cook your food properly, and wear shoes in areas where hookworms might be present. These simple steps can make a big difference. Trust me, it's much better to prevent these critters from hitching a ride. Stay vigilant and stay healthy. Section 4. Friends or foes? Now for the big question, are these worms friends or foes? The answer, like science itself, is complex. Some scientists believe that certain worms, particularly those from the group called helminths, might actually be beneficial to our health. They think that our immune systems evolved alongside these worms, and their presence can help keep our immune responses in check. Think of it like this. Imagine your immune system as a vigilant guard dog. It's great at protecting your body from harmful invaders, but sometimes it can get a little overzealous and start attacking harmless things like pollen or dust mites, causing allergies. That's where these helpful worms might come in. They could act like trainers for your immune system, teaching it to chill out and focus on the real threats. Section 5. Worms, the tiny helpers. Believe it or not, some scientists are studying the potential of using worms to treat certain diseases. These tiny creatures, often overlooked and sometimes even feared, might actually be the key to groundbreaking medical treatments. Remember those helpful helminths we talked about? These parasitic worms, which might sound unpleasant, are actually being looked at in a whole new light. Well, they're being investigated for their potential in treating autoimmune diseases like Crohn's disease and multiple sclerosis. These conditions can be debilitating, and finding new treatments is crucial. These diseases occur when the immune system mistakenly attacks the body's own tissues, causing pain and damage. Early research suggests that introducing certain types of worms into the gut might help calm down the overactive immune response, reducing inflammation and alleviating symptoms. This could be a game changer for many patients. It's still early days, and more research is needed to fully understand the potential and safety of this approach. But the idea that these tiny creatures could hold the key to treating serious illnesses is pretty amazing, don't you think? It's a reminder of how much we still have to learn about the natural world. So the next time you think about worms, remember that they're not just creepy crawlies. They could be tiny heroes in the making. They're a fascinating part of our world, and they might even hold the key to some amazing scientific discoveries. Who knew that such small creatures could have such a big impact?